we're not to the point of college football being entirely canceled, but the Big Ten has made their decision, and soon thereafter the Pac-12 decided to shut it down as well. And wondering how that makes you feel. 800-636-1067. Jason, when you talk about this, you seem angry. Are you angry that they've shut it down?
I'm just disappointed.
I think a lot of people are disappointed because you want to see it. Even if it is the right thing, we don't know if it's the right thing or wrong thing. It could be proven to be the right thing.
Maybe angry is the proper word. I'm just angry, disappointed, bitter that the world has come to this, and that we've had to make decisions like this just to cancel things. It's just very unfortunate. But I don't know if I'm as angry as I am disappointed. I've kind of expected it.
Are you worried that in the Big Ten, which has already made the move to shut it down, and maybe the Pac-12, that they will follow what they're doing with football with college basketball? Because college basketball would start potentially about a month and a half after college football starts, right? Usually by mid-October, college basketball starts.
I don't know why you would
laid the precedent.
I don't know why you'd be optimistic about it. How can you be optimistic about it at this point?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if these schools, these conferences are canceling all fall sports. I know that basketball isn't really considered a fall sport, but it starts in the fall.
Yep.
Their practices start in the fall. So what does that mean?
Well, the Pac-12 already canceled all sports until January 1st.
Yes, I mean.
So that's your non-conference basketball.
Yeah, I mean, because the Pac-12, they obviously play a few games in November and December. So, it's affecting college basketball as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they can do. Can they play in sort of a bubble? I don't know. I don't think they can. There's too many teams.
JP, I think people would be less frustrated and have less disdain if the decision was made and everyone was on the same page.
Right.
I think the frustration comes when everyone has all of these differing opinions and doctors saying different things, and the Big Ten is thinking completely differently than the ACC. But I feel like if the entire college football was just canceled because of concerns, then everyone could it would be an easier pill to swallow.
It's divided just like the entire country is divided along the lines of the virus. I mean, every day you see a video of somebody walking into a grocery store or a Walmart screaming at somebody else for wearing a mask. I mean, basically doing what you're told to do to try to mitigate the spread of the virus. Everybody's divided. Everybody's upset. Everybody's on edge.
Jason, wouldn't it be an easier pill to swallow if just every single conference said we can't do it this year because of medical concerns, and there wasn't this much division between conferences?
Yeah, maybe. It's just weird.
Yeah, obviously it's disappointing. But it would be easier if everyone was kind of united about their decision.
And you know what? They may still get there at the end of the day. They may.
I don't know. I
don't understand how some conferences can decide, right now our doctors are saying we can manage this risk, we can play, and then other doctors are saying, nope, can't do it. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to me that you can be on opposite sides of that. And we've never been more divided in this country. Never.
Well, it's also because there's still a lot of unknown.
Of course.
Right? So there's some doctors who may take a more cautious approach while others aren't as cautious. And then, to me, it's not just the doctors because they're dealing with the university presidents. So the same thing. There's some university presidents that are more likely to take a risk and others that may be more cautious. And I thought Randy Cross yesterday brought up a lot of good points that we hadn't really thought about on the show yesterday. What is the cost of moving forward with your football team when it comes to testing every day, testing every other day? What is the additional cost to your university where you're going to probably have to hire more doctors? What is the cost if you say, we probably expect 5 or 10 guys throughout the course of the season to come down with coronavirus? What is the cost to give them medical care? And then they're also thinking about, and these are unknowns, what are the long-term effects medically if these players do contract COVID? You're hearing about these heart problems now.
Nobody knows.
Right, nobody knows.
But no one will know in the spring. No one will know next fall. I don't care when the vaccine comes out. I don't know how viable that is. No one's going to know any of that. And the question I have is, if we're in the same situation next year, which we could be, and I would bet that we are, what do you do then? Are you going to cancel it again? Or are you going to say, well, we canceled it before. We can't do that again for 2 years in a row. We got to go forward.
I think
so
you learn every
why
day.
does the mentality change there?
Honestly, I think that they learn every day, and every week that passes, they are getting a little bit better with treatments for coronavirus. And whether it's therapeutics, ultimately a vaccine, I think they're making progress. And to me, it was a lot of wait and see for these commissioners. If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. That's why, look, I don't love it because as a fan, I would love to see college football. And I definitely would love to see college basketball. And I'm worried that it'll be gone. I'm not angry. I'm more understanding because I think they're just in a tough spot. It's a really tough spot. And we don't even know, again, I keep pointing to the economics. We don't know how much they're losing in revenue. I understand everybody says, well, it's all about TV. It's all about TV money. Well, to me, when you have 80,000 fans, or in some of these stadiums, 100,000 fans going to the games, you're bringing in a lot of revenue.
Sure. That
for
hurts
game
to lose.
days.
Yeah, that's
and so when you're not
devastating.
having that, I mean, are you going to operate at a loss? And what does that mean to the university as a whole? If your football program, which is usually a money maker, bringing in profit, all of a sudden is losing money, how much does that affect the rest of the student body?
It
Well, it
affects
affects the student body, affects the rest of the athletic department.
Every school is
yeah.
affected. Every school is affected. Some not as much as others, but every school absolutely is affected.
I just think it's a much bigger factor than they're letting on. And with the myocarditis thing, if it's such this big bad wolf all of a sudden, why are all the other sport leagues playing? And don't give me this because they're professionals. If we're talking about people's health, and this is a scary thing that we need to be worried about, why are sport leagues all over the world playing and not just the Big Ten? The Big Ten has it all figured out?
Yeah.
I doubt that. There's just something else going on.
No, they're just more terrified. I don't know what it is. I mean, they're just – you're telling me that the doctors that are talking to the ACC or the SEC don't know what this is? They don't know what the risks are? They say it's okay. We can go forward. And then why are some of these Big Ten schools going to send all – I've brought this up a million times. You can't play football, but you can send every student back to that campus.
Yeah, one of the doctors on I was listening to on the radio today said that with myocarditis is the big thing about it is treatment early on. And how you treat it early on is by knowing that they have it, by testing them and knowing they have COVID. If you send them home and these athletes get it, they're much more likely to develop these heart problems than they are if they're on campus and they're playing the game.
Yeah, and they're not getting the treatment.
I think what Drab pointed out and what I'm trying to get at, they may say one thing, but I think the costs is probably a huge factor that they just don't want to talk about. They don't want to go on mic and say, you know what, we're going to shut down the Big Ten season because we're not going to make a profit this year, and it's going to hurt us. But take for example your daughter, Jason. She goes to Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's got a big football program. I don't know how much money they would bring in each game, but that loss of the money, if they chose to go that route, that might result in tuition being raised for all the students. You know what I mean? Like there are big reverberations by not having the football season go forward.
Well, not only for the university. Think about all the ancillary businesses around the university, the hotels, the restaurants, the entertainment, all of that depends on, 60,000 people coming into Blacksburg 6 or 7 times during the fall that aren't going to be there anymore.
Yeah, small town.
Just the pinch that they're feeling.
The small town college economics really, the small college town economics really gets crushed.
Towns depend on college football.
Yeah, but just think about the hotels in general.
Yep.
And then this school right here, Yale, they bumped their tuition by 4%.
Right.
And
They said no kids are coming on campus. You're not even allowed on campus for the entire year. You're going to be online. Oh, and by the way, we're going to boost that tuition by 4%.
Unbelievable. If you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. Are you angry by decisions like this, where the Big Ten shuts it down and the Pac-12 shuts it down? By the way, I saw Drab tweet this. You said something like the Pac-12 is Big Ten's little brother. What is the relationship there? Do they just follow their lead every time?
No, they're just in cahoots with each other. But I mean, dating back 70 years to when they made like the Rose Bowl agreement. They're always in lockstep with each other. So when the Big Ten decided, hey, we're not going to play anymore, the Pac-12 said, "Oh yeah, we're done too." I mean, I love the Pac-12. Obviously, I watch all their games, but it's a terrible conference, and Larry Scott is a terrible
Wow,
commissioner.
look at Drab going hard on
And
the
he-
Pac-12, something he loves and cherishes.
Well, I mean, I mean, regionally, it's the teams that I'm interested in, but
Yeah,
they're a
right.
joke of a conference. They haven't won in basketball or football in over a decade because they have poor leadership.
Yeah. Now, let me say this on the feeling side, and if you want to chime in, 800-636-1067. I am a little sad I'm not going to be able to watch the Terps. And I didn't expect many wins from the Terps, but it's year 2 for Mike Loxley.
Yeah.
They just got the green light that Talia tags could actually play. I think he just got the waiver. And, you know, you've heard all about the recruiting the last couple of years, and usually that takes more than 2 years to see an impact on the field. But all these guys that are hyped up, Loxley's been, you know, locking up these great recruits. Kind of wanted to see the guys.
Right. You
Yeah,
want to
the-
see
the
it pay off
Rakeem-
on the field.
The Rakeem Jarrett's of the world.
Yep.
That's who I really feel for, the kids. And you know, how many of these coaching staffs are going to be affected, especially at the smaller schools? Are they going to have to let guys go? I got a buddy who's the wide receiver coach down in East Carolina. If they don't play, I mean, are they going to have to make adjustments on the coaching staff? Is he going to be affected? He's got a young kid and they're expecting another. And you really feel bad for the kids because that's what they've been doing their entire life. They've been prepping for this, working out every day in the summer leading up to the fall season. And now you tell them you can't play. You know, who knows going forward? A lot of these guys might transfer, like you said. Maybe they are cutting scholarships. What's going to happen with the programs in general? It's just a big unknown, and it's very unfortunate.
It's going to take years, too, to recover completely from this. Let's just assume it's one season has dropped out, but all these teams have to recruit players, right? Nobody's
Yeah.
playing their senior season.
Right, exactly. And then what if you were like kind of a fringe player who some schools were interested in, but you were going against, you know, another 5 kids that the school was looking at a certain position. And, you know, if you had a really good senior year, maybe you jump ahead, you leapfrog those
Right.
guys. And now you can't.
Right.